Wow. You know what's
world.
You know what's also world travel?
What?
Japan.
Oh, amazing segue. I applaud you.
Yippee! So guys, we're talking about
That was
Japan
great.
today. That's what we got a lot of questions from people.
Yeah, we did.
We're going to talk about our experiences, our suggestions, our advice, and this is a part 1 because we will be going back to Japan. Am I allowed to say?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be going back to Japan in June.
June.
And we'll have a part 2 explaining, if you had any further questions, our stories from our trip, and yeah.
Also, on a completely slight pre-related note, here's a replica of Bill Clinton's office that I took. A photo of a replica of Bill Clinton's office.
Why are we still talking about it?
But yeah, let's talk about Japan. So the way the Japan episode is going to be, we figured a lot of you have come up to us with questions about Japan or what to do in Japan, what not to do. We just want to preface this by saying this is very much a beginner's guide to Japan. Maybe in the future, if you really like this episode and you want us to go more in depth, we could. But, a lot of people maybe discovered anime around COVID times. Maybe you haven't been to Japan yet. Maybe you're just getting to a place in your life where you feel comfortable traveling.
Yeah.
We're here to help.
Yeah. As two
To the
anime
best of our
girls.
abilities. Yeah. We are as two anime girls who have been to Japan.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are basically the pros.
When was the first time you went to Japan?
Okay. The first time I went to Japan, hold on. I need to get the year correct. 2013. I went in February 2013 was my first time. What about you?
Mine was, I don't remember the exact month, but it was 2011.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
And how many times have you been to Japan since? What was that little noise you made?
Many a time.
All right, because you would sometimes go twice a year. That's right.
Yeah, I've been many times.
Okay, wait. Like last year you went to Japan 3 times?
I don't think it was 3.
I think it was 2.
I don't remember.
Yeah. I've only been to Japan twice after this and also in February. I like to go around February because it's my birthday. Love it. So I've been 3 times since 2011. And you have been, since 2013. You've been in 2011 and you've been going a lot. And this year, so this is going to be my first year where I'm going to Japan twice in 1 year.
Ooh.
And I'm going to be going in summer, which I've heard it gets really hot, really humid. I've heard crazy stuff about that.
Yes, it is extremely hot, extremely humid. It's, I actually don't, as a ghost, I kind of keep on the cool side, so I don't mind it so much. You'd think that I'd be dripping ectoplasm everywhere, but it's actually not so bad for me.
I wanted to ask for Japan because I think it's kind of important. How much Japanese did you know when you first went to Japan?
I knew at that point I had taken Japanese a couple years in school.
Okay.
So I was all right. I can't say I was so great because my class, it's hard to say. The class kind of moved a little slowly. So, but I stayed with a family, and I got to go to school, and it was good. It was about a half a year that I stayed there, and I didn't know. Yeah, so I think because I stayed with my family, it was easier. Because obviously they were taking care of me way more. But in school, obviously, I didn't have anyone. But I was okay. It worked out, kind of.
So you went in 2011 and stayed with the host family?
With my family, yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. Because we definitely want to talk about accommodation and stuff like that later.
Yeah.
When I went in 2013, I knew no Japanese. I obviously knew how to say sumimasen, wakarimasen, which is like, I don't understand. I wrote down a few things in a notebook that I kept bringing with me. And back then, we actually talked about this a little bit. The Wi-Fi situation was not great in Japan. You could like get a pocket Wi-Fi, but it wasn't nearly as good as it is now. And back then, I would go to Starbucks like 3 times a day just to get on the Wi-Fi.
Oh, wow.
Because there was just no Wi-Fi around anywhere. It is completely different now in Japan. You can get eSIMs, you can get pocket Wi-Fis. It's way easier.
So
and
easy.
there's Wi-Fi everywhere. Also, a lot more menus are in English. There's, first of all, English menus in a lot of places. A lot more people speak English. It feels like, because my second time I came back to Japan, I think was 10 years later. And it was so much easier to navigate with my same amount of Japanese.
Right? Well, it's like, I definitely, like any big tourist spot is going to be pretty easy for English speakers to navigate.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more. I had gone again several years later. I don't remember the exact date or the exact year, but I do remember like it was before like Wi-Fi and like I had an international plan, but it was like back when it was like 2G LTE or whatever.
It was awful. Yeah, it was slow. It wasn't good.
Yeah, so like using Google Maps was like still very impossible, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, how I don't even think about it. Thinking about it now, I'm like, how did I get around? Like, it was so.
Another thing about Japan that people maybe don't really realize, if you grew up in a North American or a European city where you're used to all the street signs being in your language or at least in English, and in Japan, and I know this is going to sound crazy when I say this, people are going to be like, of course, Mata, we get it. Everything is in Japanese, which is like, oh yeah, obviously. No. Like, usually if you're used to North America, you'll see like a store, right? It might have 2 floors. And on one floor, it'll say, I don't know, tanning. And on the other floor, it'll say gym. But there, you're going to have these like 10-floor buildings.
Oh, yeah.
With each little floor being a little business. And it just has something that it says.
Yep.
And sometimes in your Google Maps, they'll say the name in English, but then they'll have the name in Japanese on the, and you just, good luck.
See, I've never.
Good luck.
I mean, maybe because my Japanese is to a point where like that doesn't affect me, but it is a good point to note that like because Japan has to build up, there's so many buildings and so many stores that you could miss if you just don't look up. Like if you're just like, I'm just gonna stay in the stores that are on the ground floor, like that's crazy to me because there's like so many things that are like that are just interesting up and above as well. How I guess
I would also. Oh, you guess what?
No, I was just going back to your point, like that with the signs. Like I never thought about like because like if I'm like
it's overwhelming.
Yeah, for someone who doesn't speak a lot of Japanese, I can get it. Yeah.
It's overwhelming too because you'll have the name in English in your app, or it'll say it's open, and then you come up and you just don't understand where it is because it's just written in Japanese. You don't know what anything is. If you try to ask somebody, hey, do you know where this place is?
Oh no,
I had that so many times before where I would ask people, hey, do you know where this is? And we just can't find it at all. Another thing in Japan too, I personally find it really hard with the street.
I was just about to ask
everything. It's so tough for me. The way that I know how to get places is I just need to remember how to get there. That's it.
No, me too. Because I actually don't even know where street signs are. So in Japan,
you could never find them.
In Japan, it's not like, okay, turn right onto Tokyo Boulevard. Like there's not like anything like that. It's called like, there's it's like ichome, like nichome, sanchome, and like it's like ichi no san no ni is how you like say, and you're just like what? Like everything is by numbers, and I don't even know where you could see that. Like I'm like where am I going?
Me neither. I have no idea.
So if I'm looking for a place, I will just like I will hold up my phone that has like, okay, I'm walking here, and
I'm walking
and I
here.
just walk with my like phone in hand, and I like follow from there.
I am not proud to say, even with my phone in hand, I usually don't really know where to go. There's been times where I've approached people, asked them where something is. They were in front of it with me and they couldn't find the place either.
You're so
It
brave.
happens so much to Japan. Oh yeah, you know me. It happens so much in Japan where like I asked the person, they both are looking around with me. They also don't find it. How?
Do you-
Even Japanese people get lost in Japan. So please don't feel bad if you get lost.
Do you
okay?
ever have the issue where you ask someone for directions and they say, "Sorry, I don't speak English," even though you're speaking Japanese sometimes? Or do you ask in Japanese or?
Oh, not anymore. Maybe I had that problem 10 plus years ago, but I don't remember because it was so long ago. My last 2 trips, I was with people who knew a little bit of Japanese, and not anymore. I don't really have that problem.
That's good. Because even once I asked a police officer for help in Japanese, I was like, I was looking for my hotel. I was just like, do you know where this hotel?
Sumimasen.
Yeah. And I asked in Japanese and he was like, sorry, I don't speak English. And then walked away. And I was like,
That's funny.
oh, it was so frustrating at the time.
I think it's also maybe he assumed that, your Japanese was beginner.
Maybe.
So he was just like, I am not getting involved.
Maybe.
This is too much trouble
But he's
for
a
me.
police officer. He's supposed to help me.
You're right. It is his duty. He failed you.
failed
I think
me.
it's his duty actually to protect the citizens of Japan. So
He was some old geezer. Even who was he protecting?
Not you, because you weren't a citizen of Japan. He didn't do anything wrong.
I just wanted, I had a big heavy suitcase. I was just looking for my hotel.
You found it in the end, right?
Oh yeah, obviously.